It's the world and the characters. It's the world and interacting with the world, seeing what I can explore, and looking at the characters and different creatures in it. All right, that's the answer to the question in the title, or not really even just why. That's why I'm here, given the title of the video. Just wanted to make that real quick, just because, you know, I'm not really into dragging stuff, despite the length of the videos that I put out, especially the recent ones, where none of them have been under 20 minutes. I'm not really a fan of dragging stuff out. But this video, you saw the title, and you know what day it's posted on. You can see it in the description, or on the rare chance you're looking at it the day of, which I doubt, because there's bigger things happening by the time you're likely seeing it. This video is titled Why I Love Pokemon, and I just gave the answer. Now, this is just going to be more reiterating stuff that I've said over the course of a bunch of videos over the last two, almost 3 years. The gameplay was never why I played these games. I've always been more of a fan of action-based games. My other favorite franchise, like, that's the reason why that's my other favorite. So, like, I've never been into turn-based RPGs in general, but Pokemon is an example of the type of thing where normally I wouldn't be interested. Almost every other turn-based thing that I've seen has done something that is a little more my style and has a little more, let's say, would I call it player urgency? I guess. So, for instance, I default to Bravely Default. You know, I can choose how many turns I save or go into debt for, so that can be used for certain strategies. Or another RPG-like thing I play is Dragon Ball Fusions. That one has an active turn-based thing where it's more speed-based, and whoever gets to the front of the little progress bar first makes a move. And every time you attack somebody, they fall back down the line a little bit. It's stuff like that, you know, like Mario and Rabbids, that one where I'm actively choosing my positioning and bouncing characters off of each other. Even something like Fire Emblem, where positioning makes more sense. Like, you need to make your positioning make more sense. It's not like just you're stuck there. Like, even the older Final Fantasies with the multiple player characters out at once, so you can use each of them for a different role all at once in a singular turn. Pokemon, barring double and triple battles, really doesn't, and rotation battles, really doesn't do a lot of that. It's just you and them, whoever you have out versus whoever they have out, and it's just a one-on-one essentially, again, until double battles and triple battles and rotation battles get involved, and then the raids that have been in more recent games. So like, battle-wise, that is not why I'm here. It's just inoffensive enough, right? It's not too boring for me, because there's still, like, all the types and stuff, and I can make the team however I want to and still have a chance to win, which is, I think, a pretty big reason why someone like me would still be interested in the game, at least in turn, like, staying interested anyway. But like I said, despite the fact that I'm an action-oriented person and love fights and games, I am not mainly here for the battling with, like, I think it might be the only franchise that I'm like that with. Okay, technically it's not, but I mean, like, the first, like, RPG game, like an adventure game, like a game with an adventure and a battle system that isn't like that. It's like the only one that's like that for me. The main reason why I'm here, like I said earlier, is the world, the characters, creatures, and the stories in it. I treat And this is actually the reason why I can get excited for all of them, despite the varying different ways that they do stuff, that each game does stuff, from Gens 1 and 2 to Gens 3, 4, and 5, and to an extent 6, because 6 is essentially just the ones beforehand, but in 3D, to the way 7 and 8 did things, to the way that we are currently at with 9, which is full open world. I enjoy experiencing the region. I treat it kind of like how you're supposed to treat normal tourism. Having a specific place to go to is like having a specific thing you want to see or a place to go to is fine, great even, but you should be trying to take in all of the area you're in, not just the big famous stuff, but like what animals you find, the people you see and how you interact with them, how they interact with each other, you know, the streets and the small communities that exist. It's kind of like that, where I don't exactly go for specific stuff. I'm trying to see the world that they make, and I treat it again like the point that I made with the tourist stuff, where there is no expectation. I just want to see what's here. The closest thing to an expectation I can have with the game is that it works regularly. That's about it. This actually is reflected in that my favorite generations are the ones that do more with the characters, the ones that have the more interesting and more varied creatures and characters in them. Black and White was one of the first times that we genuinely had a bunch of characters, not just our rivals and friends, but the villains and the gym leaders, and like the only ones that weren't seen anywhere else outside the story were the Elite Four. So really they're like the only weak part of Black and White. Same with Black and White 2, actually. I don't think you see any Elite Four member just out in the story of the game, which is something that I think they should start doing. Scarlet and Violet did it, but they traded off having the gym leaders just be doing stuff out in the wild. I'd like a game where all of them are their own people. I honestly, if I can talk about the stuff that I want to see in a Pokemon game, that could be a whole separate video. That actually might be Saturday's covered. Regardless, if it doesn't happen for Pokemon Week, it'll definitely happen some other time. It's just one that I have in the back. Is stuff that I'd like to see Pokemon do at some point. I like the games that have those characters in them. I like the two different ways that our rivals were in Black and White, for instance. One coming to terms with the fact that they can't be a great trainer in the traditional sense. The other one being strong but struggling to figure out what that actually means for him. And even Hugh from Black and White 2 was pretty nice. The determination to reclaim what his family lost, his sister, really. You know, it's the same for Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. That the Aether family's whole storyline was, I don't know if anything's really topped it for me yet. And those games are turning 10 by the end of this, and at least in terms of Pokemon. Some things get close from other series. Some things just outright surpass them from other series. But in terms of Pokemon, like that's like basically the top. I like if I've already said all this in the Scarlet and Violet video, but I really like the character focused way that they did Scarlet and Violet. I'm not going to get too much more into that, but it's the characters. And that's the reason why I'm there. And then also Pokemon themselves. I don't have a single Pokemon that I hate at all. There's some that I think might look goofy. There are some that I think might be a little off, but I don't hate any of them. And I like seeing, especially in the recent games, I like seeing them interacting with their surroundings and finding and seeing where I can find them. Like, I was actually I sat there when in Sword and Shield, which is the first time we saw this type of stuff. When I got to the Isle of Armor and I saw an Emolga flying between the different trees in the forest, I legit sat there and just watched that thing do that for a while. So, I actually brought that up also in the Scarlet and Violet Thoughts of video with the group of Rowlet that I was able to see flying over the top over my head in the Switch 2 version during the Switch 2 section. That type of stuff is really cool, and even just finding a Pokemon in an era is really nice. It's kind of like a scavenger hunt almost, especially if you're trying to complete the Pokedex like I have been for the last couple of generations. I really enjoy the feeling of that. And all of this is brought together by the areas themselves. Each region has different places to see, obviously, a bunch of different towns, and then all the NPCs and people within it. Like, I think the best example of the NPCs being great is actually the most recent game, Legends ZA. They are weird, they are dark sometimes, and they're all funny. They all say some of the most absurd stuff you will likely hear in a children's game, kind of, period. The only reason, I'm not going to have this be like a edited, like really all that edited, I'm just going to be talking the whole way through, but you can find some examples of it in ZA pretty easily. All you have to do is just look at the NPCs now. And for as much as we meme on the roadblocks of older games, they're also a good reason, like getting insight into the way that the world works. Then there's all the areas. I like seeing the different ways that they can translate the different feel of each area that they're basing stuff off of, which is another thing for the regions, is that they're all based on real life places. So these are things you can go see the real life inspiration for all these regions, and like you can go see them all, like actually, like in real life. But I like seeing how they would translate things from New York in black and white, and Hawaii from Sun and Moon, and they all give off different feelings, especially accompanied with the music, which is another great reason to be involved here. The music is pretty much always good. I think some of my favorite standouts are actually some of the route themes. Sinnoh and Unova, all of their route themes are incredible. Route 119 from Hoenn, Route 120 from Hoenn. This is from the remake of Heart Gold, like the remake of Gold and Silver, but in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, Route 47 is really good. I like Route 26, both from the original and Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Ancient Pony Path from Pokemon Sun and Moon. And then to accompany all those tracks, we have the wooded forest areas. We have the dense cities that not a single one of them looks the same from the other. You can easily tell which one that you're looking at. Not even just with the video itself, but like the way that they're structured. If you could free roam in Castelia the way that you could in ZA, like if they remake Castelia from the ground up like Lumios in ZA, you would still be able to tell which was which, even without the tower involved. And it's like that for every single area in all of the games. None of them really look the same at all. So it's that combined with exploring all these places, whether it be in the recent games or the older ones, and trying to see what you could find in places. All of that is why I'm here. It gives me infinitely more enjoyment than the battle system does on a regular basis. Now, there are sometimes the battle system can be great. Like when they do double and triple battles, those are cool. The raids are nice. And the gameplay changes in Legends Arceus and ZA are like they are my favorite games in the series gameplay wise. If we're talking about the base series, I am here for the characters, the world, the creatures, and the lore. It's really cool to see lore play out in real time for each game and then see where it will go, which is, I think, the biggest thing for me for this. Not just this series, but all the series I'm interested in. I don't have a specific idea of what it should be. I want to see where they'll take it, whether I end up liking it or not. And with Pokemon, I enjoy seeing all the unique creatures, all 1,028 of them, right? I think it's 1,028 or 1,025, somewhere around there, and not including the various forms as separate. Just like them, just like the regions, The Pokemon themselves also pretty much will never look similar to the point of confusing you unless it's on purpose. But like all that is essentially why I'm here. I like seeing where stuff goes, and in this case, I love seeing where the characters, the world, the lore, the creatures themselves end up going. And hopefully, in about an hour from when this gets posted, and in about 3 days from when I'm recording this, we'll be able to see where we're going next. And I'm excited for that. This is, I think, the last recorded video for this week, and it's coming out like an hour before the Pokemon Presents on the 27th. So I'll see you then. Bye.